Hi guys, good evening. Magandang gabi dyan sa ating lahat, no? So, this evening, I'm going to react to a video of Maricar Reyes being interviewed by Tony Gonzaga in her YouTube channel. And it can be recalled that, diba, that Maricar was involved in a video scandal with celebrity Hayden Cole in 2009. So this was actually really huge at the time, and I could just imagine the trauma that had, you know, that had been caused to the parties involved, especially sa kanya, kay Maricar Reyes, should be very traumatic. But however, she kept mum on the issue until now, and yeah, let's get into the video and tara guys, let's react together.
Totoo na kakasal na talaga siya.
Sabi mo dito, I'm not thankful for the scandal, nor would I want to relive it all over again. But I would never trade the lessons I learned. Never. What was the biggest lesson?
Honesty. Yung just being true. Kasi life ko talaga before, dami kong tinatago, na I didn't even realize it was wrong. Diba? I think I also mentioned there, I mean, the way I got to the point where I was broken, daming white lies, small sins. When people think about spirituality and going to hell, going to heaven, they think about big sins. Pero actually, small, steady things that are wrong, na nagpa-pile up, na hindi mo alam nagpa-pile up na pala, and then sasabog ka. So I think that's what happened to me, na I realized I'm not a victim. Ang dami nagsasabi, uy, victim ka lang, wala kang ginawang masama. Meron eh, di nyo na nakikita. It was my life choices that got me there. And yun, slow and steady improvements got me out.
Well, people see you as a victim, but I see you as a victor.
Yes.
Because of what you
Oo
overcame,
naman.
di ba?
Oo naman.
We are more than conquerors.
Yes.
Ang ganda nung last part ng book. This is one of the most beautiful letters that I have read. This is her letter to herself. Dearest younger self, today is the first day of your crisis. I wish I could give you a big hug. I hope you will believe me that in your present suffering, you are not alone. However, I know realistically that nothing I say now will instantly remove all your pain or even solve your problems. What happened to you is devastating, but it is only the beginning of the long traumatic after effects. Today, it is okay to cry and eat all the comfort food you want. Remember that it's okay to grieve, but at one point you must decide to get up, face the problem, and look for solutions. You may not know if God changed every single person who uploaded, watched, and shared the video, but you will know for sure that He changed us. He wants us to be our inner anchor para kahit anong pagsubok o trahedya, hindi na tayo mawawasak katulad ng dati. And remember, though it will not make sense now, but it is through your scars and wounds where God will build something eternally beautiful. What was intended to destroy you, God will turn it into a powerful testimony to help many other struggling women. I am excited for you. Endure it because it will get better. Each year will always be better than the last. Always. Big hug, Maricar. It's a beautiful letter you wrote to yourself. The first part of this book was the question, why did I write this book? So
Yes.
I will ask you now, why did you write this book?
Honestly, it was not my idea. Kasi okay na ako eh. Sa totoo lang, parang bakit pa? Bakit pa kailangan balikan? But me and Richard, we wrote a book called 10 Things We Fight About.
Relationships.
Relationships in 2017. And then when that got published, maganda naman yung reception. And then yung manager namin, sabi niya, alam mo, you should write a book about what you went through. Kasi okay ka na eh. You can see this in
guys, I can't wrap my head around her facial reactions and still her pain. Sa honestly guys, honestly speaking, uh, upon observing sa kanya, no, like she's really trying her best and to she's really trying her best na parang mag-heal siya, but I think the best solution for her is just to totally stay away of media basically, because that's the culprit of everything. You know, it was parang snowball na na nangyari sa kanya, that when when the scandal was spreading, it's like it had affected her like in a way that nobody could fathom the pain, because she's a female, babae siya. And as a female in our society, it's very conservative. And the way I see it, and the way I see her, you know, facial reactions, her nuances during this interview, she still feel ashamed. She feels the shame, and with every word that she's saying, she's trying to hold herself back. And in that regard, she should recognize that you know, she should be very careful who she conducts interview with. And I'm not saying that Tony, she's not a good interviewer. She's very eloquent, and both of these girls are really, ano sila, they're brilliant. But for Maricar Reyes, I hope that when she conducts interviews like this, she should be very, very picky, because if she was going to relive every now and then the experiences, that the fear and traumatic experience, that the shame that she experienced when that scandal exploded, it would be very, very hard for her to take. Reliving traumatic experiences can be beneficial at a point, but also very detrimental and very stimulating in a way that it affects you negatively. So I suggest for her that, you know, at this point, I think avoidance of issues, knowing what kind of people, or who are the people that you should be talking about these things. You know, there's no point of reliving such traumatic incident on your own just to feel the pain again. Like, doesn't make sense. If you were going to talk about this particular thing, it should be with a therapist. It should be someone who is kapamilya mo, and who is someone that is really empathetic and sympathizing you to that level, that, you know, the shame that you're feeling, so you would feel ease about your situation. So I think yun guys, the way I observe her, that yun yung parang nakikita ko
sincerity in his eyes, kahit ako, I'm curious, paano mo nalampasan yun? What was going through your mind when it was all happening? And then how did you come out of it? So maybe you should write a book. So from there, hindi ko na nabitawan yung thought. If he had not said that, I think yun talaga yung nag-start for me to think about it. And then it took a while kasi nung sinabi niya sa akin yun noong 2017, parang hindi pa ako hinog. Alam mo yung you know something in your head, pero hindi pa siya tumatawid sa heart mo. So, yun, from 2017 tas hanggang 2022, ang haba ring healing process. And I think that's also something I want people to realize. That's why the book is a bit long. There's a process and it's long. Lalo na, the deeper your hurt is, the longer your process, and that's okay. Basta every year you get better, okay na yun. You're doing well already.
Mhm.
Tapos, don't discount the process.
Mhm.
Ano talaga siya? Kailangan mo siyang pagdaanan and himay-himayin.
Nagkaroon ng purpose yung pain,
Yeah,
no?
yeah,
Ito yun.
yeah.
It's a survival guide for other women or other girls who might be going through a crisis right now. So kung nalampasan ni Maricar, kaya din nilang lampasan.
I also like to think of it as a blueprint. Parang, by reading this, sana i-analyze mo din life mo from your childhood. That's why meron ding parang question sa dulo.
Yes.
After every chapter, oh, ito yung side ko, ikaw naman. What do you think about your own life? And hopefully, it will start the ball rolling for them also.
Di ba in our life, marami tayong mga hindi magagandang decision. Or sometimes we can make some of the worst decisions we've ever done or made in our life. Pero kung tatanungin kita ngayon, what do you think is the best decision you ever made in your life?
I don't mean to sound religious. Pero I'm happy na, I decided to read that book. That old book that didn't make sense. Grabe. It's hard to find words to describe how he can change a life.
That book.
I mean, honestly, if we talk about yung pain ko and mga pinagdaanan ko, hindi ako masyado na naiiyak. Naiiyak ako pag siya na yung pinag-uusapan.
Oo nga, napansin ko.
Kasi grabe siya. Grabe siya talaga yung
Guys, this is very emotional, guys.
thankfulness ko sa ginagawa niya sa akin. And it's not just even before. He continues to do it. Sobrang ako natatouch kasi parang I fail him eh. Even, kala mo, yan lang yung struggles ko. It doesn't end there. There's always struggles. There's always something that's wrong with you, or there's always something that you need to fix. Pero andyan pa rin siya, constant siya. Constant siya na mahal kita. Hindi kita iiwanan, ayusin natin yan.
Yung feeling na you belong to him. Diba? You belong to something bigger and greater than your life. That he is in charge, he is in control.
Because actually, siya yung kailangan mo eh. You spend your life looking for things that you need and that can fill you and that can fix you. It's not something pala, it's someone.
So, guys, that was just a short excerpt of the whole interview na ginawa nila Tony at ni Maricar Reyes, and when she relived or revisit her past yung sa scandal niya. And actually, like yung first na comment ko when I stopped the video, I was wrong with my impression towards her, but I was right with how the interview was conducted along the way. So Maricar is such a smart and strong-willed woman then, and during this interview, there's deep shame in herself that she was just trying to hold herself back when when saying about things related to that, and she would just keep a smiley face, and that indicates that indicates shame on her end because she can't fully express herself. But later on sa video pala, yung mga 6 minutes, especially nung pinag-uusapan nila yung book na sinulat niya. I found her being recollected and getting into her strength, personal strength, that she had overcame unimaginable crisis in her life, and through her book she could inspire a lot of women that may be going through the same thing as hers. So very inspiring, guys, and very I'm very proud of her, and I hope that she should pick the person that she would reveal or revisit as an incident as this, kasi yung deep na scar na na-cause ng incident na to sa kanya, and to keep revisiting that to the public is not healthy for the person who had gone through it, especially sa kanya. And for if only I could speak to her in person with Maricar Reyes, here's my message to you. Like, it's good that you found Jesus, and I'm not a religious person that much, but I believe that He exists, He's there, and He is responsible for most of these things. And He always has a grandeur plan for every one of us. That's good that you realize that. And it's also fitting that you're so grateful of your life, and for even in the things that you've been through, you're still very grateful. That's a good thing. And lastly, Miss Maricar Reyes, I just want to say that, in this world, in philosophy, there is what we call duality. So you try to think of it as a metaphor that, a particular person, itong tao na to may pinagdadaanan na ganito, but he's treating it as na parang it's unbearable. That particular pain is unbearable. And then this particular person na may pinagdadaanan lang na very slight for everyone, but for him it would cause him like depression, mental depression. So the idea of duality is like tayong lahat may pinagdadaanan, but it is our introspection sometimes that could cause more harm than the actual event itself. So if we were to consider that, the one that's causing pain to us is the people that is around us because of the shame that they have associated with that, scandal, that very fortunate explosion of that scandal, then think of it again. They don't hold you, and you shouldn't be letting the people around holding control over you. That they might have seen you flesh by flesh, but it need not mean that they hold your life. So that you can just ease your pain, and you think, and because we're all just passersby lang naman tayo dito sa ano na to, mundo na to, and we're all made of flesh. So there's nothing to be ashamed of it, although it is, you know, it's easier said than done, but I hope that you would reconsider the idea that I have raised here, which is the idea of duality, which is the power is really in you, your power of introspection on things that people shouldn't be in control of you as to your experience. So with that being said, guys, I think that's just my reaction to this video, and I'm really proud of her, and I hope she stays strong, and I hope she achieves and really live a life true to herself. And I would have liked for her to venture another country, travel, see, you know, experience life, see things in different perspective and point of view, different culture, traditions. That would instill, that would give you so much learning. You're not trapped in the bubble of, you know, of tradition, culture, shame that covered, you know, a certain society. It's why very important talaga na mag-travel, like to learn other people how they do, because we're just one race. We're human beings. So I'm getting really deep here, but I hope that my video and my comments get across. And guys, that would be all. Good night, and I hope to see you. Comment down below if you agree with my suggestion, and I'd like to hear from you. And yun lang po lahat. Bye bye. Good night.